Hello everybody, this is Mr. McAllen, and I'm here to talk to you about plotting rational functions. And one of the things that I wanted to go over were the steps to plotting a rational function, and I want to try to do this in under 10 minutes. And I have another example of a different rational function to plot later, so there will be two examples on my website and on YouTube for you guys to check out. So let's get started. So first we have a rational function, and I have the steps here for plotting them. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find and plot our vertical asymptotes. So that requires taking our denominator and factoring that. So I'll factor the denominator, and that will be x plus 4, x plus 1, which will give us our asymptote values for vertical asymptotes. We just set each factor to 0, so we have x equals -4 and x equals -1, and I'm going to plot those. So at -1, and remember to label your vertical asymptotes. And I also have a 0 to find, and you find your zeros in the numerator by setting that term equal to 0. So in this case, our 0 is at x equals 0. Remember to label your coordinates. Now I want to figure out if I have horizontal or slanted asymptotes. So remember what we did for step 3 in class this week. We used our overall degree of the rational polynomial to help us figure that out. So in this case, our overall degree is -1, because the numerator has a degree of 1 and the denominator has a degree of 2, so that makes an overall degree of -1, which means our horizontal asymptote has the equation y equals 0. So now I'm going to plot that. And now what we want to do is we want to plot our Y intercept. Our Y intercept is found by just figuring out what f of 0 is. So when we plug in 0 into this function, that again is going to be 0 over 4, and that will be that same point that we have plotted. So now we need to draw the function, but it would be really helpful if we had a few more test points, because right now we only have one point. We have 3 zones: zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3, that we need to figure out what the function is doing. So we need a few points to check. So what you should do is you should figure out in each zone a couple points to give you an idea of what's going on. So for example, let's make up a table, and then I'm going to pause the camera and I'm going to fill out the table. So what we have is, just make up a table to keep track of all the information. So in zone 1, I have the point -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, -6, and -5. Then I have -3 and -2 to check, and then I have 0, I know is 0, and then I have, I'll use 0.1, and maybe I'll do 0.2. So I have a bunch of points for test points to tell me what this function is doing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to so I'll show you how to do one test point, and then I'll fill out the table and save you the time of having to watch me do all the work. So f of x equals 3x over x squared plus 5x plus 4. So when I want to figure out what f of -6 is, I'm going to just put in -6. And I'll find that's -18 divided by 36 minus 30 plus 4, which will be negative 18 over 10, which equals negative 1.8. So that tells me I'm at negative 1.8, which is I'm around there. So I'm going to use one more test point. And that's going to tell me I'm at 3 times negative 5. And that equals negative 15 over 25 minus 25 plus 4. And that is going to be negative 3.75. So I get the feeling, or the data shows that my curve is moving in that direction. Now I'm going to pause the camera, and I'm going to figure out those other test points, and I'll show you the work, but I just don't want to take up the recording time to do that. So anyway, I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, well, I'm back for a moment, and I did zone 2, and zone 2 shows me that I figured out what f of negative 3 was, and the function at negative 2. So we have some more points to plot. So I put them up in the table. If you want to take a look at those points, just pause the video for a moment. You can see when I plugged in negative 3, I got a value of 4.5, and when I plugged in negative 2, I got a value of 3. So when we go back and look at the video, you can see that at negative 3, I'm at 4.5. So that would be somewhere around there. And when I'm at negative 2, I'm at the value 3. Now here's the thing, because I don't have any other zeros in this zone, or crossings of the x-axis, that tells me that this function is going to come down and then go back up. And I could put more test points in to verify that. But that's what that's telling me. Let me put that function in red just so that corresponds to the test points that I drew. And I'll label these points as negative 3. Well, I'll come back and label all the points later, but that gives you an indication of what direction the function is moving in over there. And now I've got a test in zone 3. So I'm going to pause the video and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, and I have 3 test points that I did, because I figured these two are so close together, it didn't really tell me what was going on. So I wanted to do one more test point, and what it shows is that the function at 1 is at 0.3, at 2 it goes to 0.333, and then it starts coming back down at 5, and so on. It's going to see the value is decreasing, so at 0.278. So when I plot these, I'm just going to zoom out a bit so you can see everything all at once. Well, let me put the table in. So I got 0.3, 0.33, and then at 5, the function went to 0.278. So we would need probably a few more test points to tell us what's going on. But basically, now I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see the plotting. We have a point here at 0.3, 0.33, and then it starts coming back down. So what it appears to be doing, and we would use some more test points again to tell us that, is it's negative on this side, and then it comes through, and then it approaches the horizontal asymptote this way. So this would be what our rational function would look like for this plot. The last thing we should do is we should make sure we label all of our asymptotes, and we should make sure we label all of our points. So I'm just going to do that, and then we'll conclude the video. Okay, I finished labeling the points, and in recap, I just want to say that once we find our vertical asymptotes, we plot them. We find our zeros, we plot them. We find our horizontal asymptote, and then when we finally graph our function, one important point here that to make is when we're graphing it, it's important to break up your graph into zones and have adequate number of test points in those zones so that you can make an accurate picture of your rational function. So I hope this helped. I'm going to just zoom out, and if you have any questions, again, email me, or let me know in class if there's anything more we could do to help you understand this. I'm going to post one more video of this, and that would be of a function that has a overall degree of 1. So we'll have us do some long division, and just try this out on your own and use this as a refresher for when we come in on Monday and we do some more practice problems. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye now.